something is missing this year?
Yeah, of course. Disappointing to see the way they performed on the Kabaka Coronation stop. But I think it was quite clear why they performed the way they performed. They didn't have a host of their players. And the reason is that quite a number of their players are in school and they are candidates, so they can't play. Others, of course, we know where Emily Lekuru is. She has since moved on. She's playing overseas now. And then there's injuries that have been suffered by some of their key players. So what is happening at this particular time is that the coach there, Buteme Koyokoyo, she's decided to give the academy players an opportunity, and many of them are playing for the first time at this level. Now it's always going to be difficult for them to compete against the more established, more experienced players.
I feel like the same can be said for the other teams, and I don't wish to be to not listen, to have to give them grace or like empathy to understand where they're coming from. But women's rugby across the board is played by students. The other teams are able to field their students, and maybe where some teams were last year is where the Black Pearls are now. For example, the Panthers. The Panthers are still on a path of building a proper rugby club. The Eels are still on the path of building a proper rugby club. The Black Pearls have been at a certain level, and if all of their players and the household names that we know, if all of them are available, then there will be a competitive side. But then the second team is now what is missing, and that's what they are trying to build. Unfortunately, it's that the period in which the rebuild is happening is coinciding with a very highly competitive period of the season. So I feel like the timing has not exactly worked for them. But the challenges of candidates in school, the challenge of students, and maybe injuries, there are challenges that are suffered across the board for all the teams. And one of the teams that has enjoyed the quality and depth of squad is the Thunderbirds. They are the champions, but even when you change 4 players, 5 players, they still remain a competitive side. And that quality began showing on day one. There's no denying the fact that Black Pearls are already out of the equation. Yeah. Because they finished number 7. Yes, they finished number 6 in the tournament, and there's no team which wants to win the series which will not make the semi-final. Yes. And you have the Avengers, you have the Thunderbirds. Avengers are defending champions, Thunderbirds are current series leaders, and then you have the She-Wolves and now the Walukuba Titans shaking tables. And this is what is on the other side. Walukuba She-Wolves and the Black Pearls want to. You can say maybe the Gulu Sprinters will suffer a bit because these teams have played a lot more competitive rugby. Black Pearls maybe because they are building a new squad. We'll listen to that.
You probably think that the Black Pearls can match up with the She-Wolves.
Maybe, but it's still a lot to ask. The real competition is on the Walukuba Titans and the She-Wolves.
Okay, you still think that from what you saw last weekend that the She-Wolves are heads and shoulders above the Black Pearls?
Yeah. By and large, to be honest, because the She-Wolves play in the Premiership, in the Women's Premiership. That means they played the 11 games, 10 games last season. Yeah, true. Of 14, maybe they gave her a couple of walkovers. They play together in the Schools League because those girls and women are playing for Nkoma SS in the Schools League. So that is a little bit more chemistry. And then now they are together with the Sevens. They come from the same community, so it's the chemistry in there, the skill set, and they're really, really strong, the Bama Saba girls. So I feel we underestimate them because we do not see them a lot, but they are a pretty solid side. And then, of course, the Walukuba Titans are the surprise package. Everyone is asking themselves, can they do it again? Yeah. So for me, I feel the women's pools are, if the Nile Rapids show up, then across the board, it is a balanced contest. We might not know who is going to go into the semi-finals. Yeah, definitely. You think that it is expected that there's going to be a bit of maybe improvements on the teams that did not do so well in the first stop that was at Chadondo last weekend. And that is where you think that maybe teams like the Black Pearls, depending on who they add in, could possibly be some sort of surprise package for the weekend. But like I said earlier on, the competition in the women's division looks like already it's tilted towards the Thunderbirds being the more dominant force, especially because of how much they have remained stable in terms of the playing personnel compared to the rest of the teams that they've been competing with. Yeah, John Vianney, thank you very much. And now I wish for us to go back to one of the things that we used to do before the Africa Cup, where we discuss a couple of tactics, a couple of interesting bits that we have seen in the Seven series, in the rugby that we've been playing. And now that we're in the Sevens, there are a few things which have carried over from the 15s, and I would like for us to start from there. Something we noticed from the Seven series, teams have adopted a new strategy as the conditioning is still something that they are working on, as the fitness is still something they're working on, the skills as well. Teams are still putting a few 15s tactics and using them in the 7 series. And this one for today is hold them up. We've noticed it a couple of times, but I would like for us to highlight the teams that were in the final. And this is the Heathens up against the Walukuba Barbarians. This was in the final match of the pool phase, on the final day on the final match of day 1. And this is Bob Kawanda in there against Dennis Otwao. Then Matthew Oluka joins, Gift Okorach, Shakim Sembusi. Then when Patrick Okello bites, this simple tactic of holding them up is one of the ways you can win easy possession without, of course there's a lot of work, but without having to commit so many men. Scrum awarded by Ruben Opesa. I know Vianney Simbe, you saw it so many times.
Yes. Yeah, of course, the hold them up, like you said, it is something that was seen in the 15s. And the teams are using it to just make sure that you can't make any major headway in terms of progressing the ball. And once the ball is not moving, then inevitably you're going to lose it to your opponent from the referee's hand signal. And that's exactly what happened, that the referee signaled that it's a ball to the Walukuba Barbarians because the ball was stuck and it was not moving. So it is such an interesting tactic that was deployed there by the Walukuba Barbarians. I
would like to describe a few things for our viewers to understand in this play. When the ball goes out to Dennis Otwao, you can see how quick the press from Kawanda is. He cuts out the passing option, and then immediately he ensures that he doesn't put any to the ground. You can see how hard he's working, holding by the hips. Then Matthew Oluka in the number 23 jersey has his hands on the ball. You can hear his communication, I have my hands on the ball. But it is not a maul until Patrick Okello. If you can just roll it back a bit, Patrick Okello takes a look at the referee and he realizes that we're wasting time here. So we'll just take a look at it. Ball goes out from Marvin Asaba. Dennis Otwao is held up, and Patrick Okello waits. He looks at, is it the referee or at the bench? And he decides to bite. And says, let's just save time. The game has just begun. Take the ball, and maybe we can force the play. Once the ball is unplayable, as it is brought into the breakdown, into the maul, the team which did not have possession wins possession. And from there, and this was at kickoff of this game. From there, Walukuba Barbarians win the ball, and then they have the set piece. I think it is one of the tactics. We might not see a lot of it going forward, but it is one of those. It is known as the Rams tactic. It is known as the Kenya Sevens tactic. And I must say it is here to stay on the 7 series.
It looks like it's a tactic that so many teams are going to adopt. But just look at the way Bob Kawanda kept flying in to make it an unplayable ball. And you've got to give credit to the smart play that they executed there. That is the Walukuba Barbarians, making it very difficult for the Heathens to move the ball. And like you just termed it, hold them up. Once the player can't get their knees on the ground, then definitely the ball is going to be turned off.